Hello everyone and welcome to 3 Charts in 1 with me, Richard Perry, market analyst for Infonox on Friday the 6th of May. It is Nonfarm Payrolls Friday. A lot of volatility on major markets in recent days. We've had big swings on Wall Street and also the dollar, and I'm going to be focusing on that today. We've got cable chart, we've got the oil price and also the S&P 500 futures. Lots to get through, so let's get straight into it. Right, we have this cable chart. Big swing higher on the Federal Reserve, but then back lower again on that Bank of England decision, and we've had the move continuing to the downside today. Really does open the downside. Look at the decisive selling pressure on that bear candle that we had yesterday. We go on the weekly chart and you can see that, well, one more level now, and we can see that next support is 2250 and then 2075 are these key lows back from 2020. The next levels to find support, but you can see the acceleration low that we've had in the past few weeks, and it really has taken hold, this selling pressure. And you could argue that even a bear flag as well, and that would target sort of low 120s as well. So it really doesn't look ideal at the moment. There is a slight positive divergence on the daily chart on the momentum, but it's nothing that I'd be getting too excited about. Again, you could argue slight divergence on the 4-hour chart, but once more, it's even today in the last hour or so, it's just sold off as the Europeans have come in and taken control. So it really doesn't look as though it's negative. Any sort of rally and into resistance is a selling opportunity. You've got the overhead supply that comes in 24.10 up to 24.75. Anything that gets into that sort of area, I think, is a selling opportunity. It would need to get above 26.35 to even have hope of a recovery at the moment. And even then, you've got loads of overhead supply as well to contend with. But any sort of selling pressure, any sort of rally is a selling opportunity, I think, on sterling dollar. On the oil price, well, big swings, big swings higher and lower on this since the Ukraine war kicked off, but you can see the swings are getting less and less in terms of magnitude. And essentially in the last sort of month, 6 weeks, this has been developing into a trading range, 98, 99 bucks on the downside up towards 116. On the upside, had a move above the mid area range, and I've shown the mid area sort of pivot that we've seen on this in the last sort of couple of weeks. But it is moving towards the resistance of that 116 area. There is a slight positive bias to momentum, but nothing yet decisive. You need to see that RSI up into the 60s, I think, to really suggest that is sort of breaking out of this range play at the moment. 40 to 60s tends to be indicative of a range play, and you've got that on oil at the moment. But a breakout above 116 would open the low 120s again, but until that is seen with momentum on RSI above 60, I'm not suggesting that is a confirmation breakout at all, but certainly at the moment it looks as though it's sort of towards the top of this range, and that could be where the market just sort of tails off once more. Right, onto this S&P futures. Well, big swings on S&P again throughout 2022, really. Ever since the sell-off began back in January, the market has just developed into this big swinging trading range, and it's towards the bottom. Obviously, we had a rally on the Fed, found resistance at 4,303. Remember that resistance, 4,303. But then it swung back wildly back lower yesterday on a massive tech sell-off in the States yesterday, big NASDAQ sell-off, and it's back towards 4,100 again. Look at the number of times 4,1 has been sort of tested, 4,100 to 4,140 on an intraday basis. Basically, certainly on a closing basis, that level of support has held, and it's testing that again today. So if that gets broken to the downside, I'll go on the weekly chart. You can see that pretty much opens the way towards, well, okay, let's be nice and say 3,950 at the moment, but it could be a lot bigger if that is considered to be a head and shoulders top over the course of the past year. That does not bode well. But what we're looking at, I think, is 4,100 needs to be seen as that support. So I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you next time. Thank you very much.